Is Akemi the stronger character in Blue Eye Samurai? In my opinion, Akemi has the most solid storyline in this show. Now, don't get me wrong, I love Mizu. Like, nothing can take Mizu away from being my king, my non-binary monarch. But Akemi has a very strong story, whereas Mizu, there are issues with her characterization. Akemi has great motivation in her story, and she truly seems like a young, naive teenager or 20-something. We see how we're shown how smart she is. Sometimes with Mizu's story, they like to say, oh, Mizu is so strong. But in Akemi's storyline, we actually see how resilient she is. I also think she's very relatable. You know, Akemi, I think, feels motivated by sex. I think that's what she thinks she wants. She wants sex. She wants to be in love. When really, by the end of her story, we come to realize what she truly wants is power. And we see this every time she has a sexual encounter in the show. She has 3 major sexual encounters in the show. The first one is with Taigen, and she sees that he is in a weak position, and this is what turns Akemi on, seeing men in a weak position. And she doesn't really realize that yet. She does a little bit, because the things that turns her on the most is to tell the men the story that they want to hear about themselves while she's having sex with them. So we see, you know, her very naive attempt, first time having sex with Taigen, and getting to display, getting to show her prowess. He believes her, you know, everything she's saying, like, you're so great and this is all the things you're gonna do and you're gonna be a master and you're gonna be so strong. So that's number 1. Number 2 is when she is at Madame Kaji's brothel, and she is with this guy she's supposed to seduce, and she loves the power and control that she not only has over this man, but also over herself. She starts to really get into her own prowess and understand her own power. She can turn men on with just words. She doesn't need to use her body. And this, I think, is sort of a pivotal moment for her to realize that she enjoys doing this. All right, and then the third sexual encounter she has is after she's married to her new husband, and she's really, I think she has already had this conversation with Seki where he's basically like, Seki knows this about her. He knows she gets off on like controlling men sexually, and in a sense he has trained her to be this so that she can control the men in power and she can be a true player. And he kind of chastises her for not seeing this, you know, not seeing this gift that she has. And so she finally decides to, you know, things change and she sees her husband in a different light. And then we once again see her having sex with him and telling him this story of how powerful he is or how powerful he can be. And it's really, I mean, it's such great storytelling. It's also not something that we really get to see. I mean, it's so compelling, it's sexy, and it's not something I really see a lot of female characters get to do. And it all culminates, her story culminates so well in this moment where, right as after Seki has died and Taigen finds Akemi, and he's like, come away with me, you know, he's this beautiful man that she's always dreamed of. And in that moment, Akemi realizes it's not necessarily sex that she is after. She is after power. And she's like, oh my god, I literally want to be powerful. This is what gets me going. And not even just sexually. It's like the core of her being is she wants to have power. And also at the same time, it's understandable because of the position she is in society. She has that fiery spirit, and she is just disgusted by any man who wants to say, like, she's less than, she's weaker. And I just love that moment for her where she's like, actually, I want to be powerful, and I'm going to go be with this other man. Now, I do want to address, I am a Mizu x Akemi shipper. I honestly, I am also a Mizu x Taigen shipper. Now, I don't necessarily think that they should all be in one, like, polyglot together. I kind of just, in my dreams and fantasies, I would want to see Mizu's relationship with just Akemi, and then also get to explore Mizu's relationship with just Taigen. I don't know, it could probably be a fun vibe with all three of them together in some kind of dire situation. But one thing that is so successful that they've done with Mizu, and this is honestly in large part to the art direction, is the stances that Mizu takes are so powerful. And one of the best ones is when she is in the brothel rescuing the madam and Akemi, and she's like flying through the brothel holding Akemi's hand, and I just love the two of them together. I like Akemi being this fulfillment of sort of this like feminine person that's worth protecting. And she's worth protecting not because she's just a woman. She's worth protecting because she is also like a powerful like psychic player in a sense. So her and Mizu being drawn together, it's a very balanced pair. Akemi is the voice and Mizu is the action. And if these two came in tandem, it would be an unstoppable duo. Whereas Akemi and Taigen, I mean, I think they have great chemistry too, and I definitely want to see them get together. But Taigen is definitely sort of like the bimbo, himbo person that is just going to follow Mizu around for the rest of his life. So in that sense, like, he's kind of hitching on to her own power and boosting it. So we're in the brothel. Mizu is pulling Akemi around, protecting her, and then there's this part where she's like, you need to run, basically, and Mizu draws in the whole crowd of men who's trying to attack her, and it's just like the way she's swinging her sword around, the way she's positioned on screen, it's so powerful. That's what makes this show really good at moments, is that the art direction is characterizing these characters. That's a moment where it's like, we don't need to be told Mizu is powerful. We see that she's powerful because of the way the scene is composed. And I find it it makes me excited because I just love how Mizu sort of like protects Akemi in certain situations. And even at the end when Mizu decides not to protect her, I do love that moment because it does show, Mizu is like kind of at the end of her rope at that moment. And she has no reason to like protect Akemi any further. And they're still getting to know each other. Hopefully in the second season, they will coalesce better and become friends. And if they became lovers, like, I would lose my shit. I think Mizu should be bisexual. She's a non-binary already. Her name is Water. Like, Mizu is this thing that is always able to, like, move and change and not be pinned down, even though people want to call her the Onryo, the monster. She is not someone that can be labeled in a sense, which is why she should be bisexual, which is why she's non-binary. But yeah, so yes, big Mizu and Akemi shipper. I also think that it could be cool for Mizu or Akemi to, Akemi does like sex. She she wants that. She wants to have sex with someone that she is in love with, but she also wants the power. But it could be cool to explore, the love she desires without feeling like she needs to control someone with Mizu. Like, it could be a very vulnerable moment for the two of them. I also think Mizu needs... I loved the part where Madame Kaji was, like, telling Mizu about sex, and it did sort of show Mizu's naivete. And then, later we also learned that she's definitely traumatized from her marriage, so that's probably another reason why she has a hard time opening up and being vulnerable. But there's this anime movie called Miss Hokusai, and in Miss Hokusai, the main character, she's kind of like Mizu, like a very, like, she's a master artist, and she's a very she takes herself very seriously and is afraid of vulnerability. She has that very stoic vibe that Mizu also has, and in this movie, there's a part where she goes to a brothel because she draws a lot of erotic art, but she's never had sex. Now, she does end up getting with this with a male prostitute, but I do love seeing that sort of like masculine vulnerability come out in her. She wants to explore this part of herself, but she's also very stoic and masculine. And so we get to see a little bit of the vulnerability in the character, and I think we need that with Mizu, and we saw a little bit of it. We saw a little bit of it when Madame Kaji was showing her things. But it would be cool if, like, Mizu did explore her sexuality and did... Oh, I love that part where she is waiting to meet Madame Kaji, and this other... one of the other working girls who's albino and has blue eyes makes eye contact with Mizu. And it's like, Mizu deserves to have sort of a vulnerable experience with some of the other outsiders of this society. It makes her, she gets kind of shy, and I hope that they do explore the bisexuality part of her character. I don't know if they will. I can dream of it, but it's definitely there, and that does not mean she can't have a relationship with Taigen.